Hey everyone, welcome to day 10. So I can't believe it. It's been like a third of the 30-day challenge now. And I also want to like just showcase the rose my husband got me. I know it's very random. So today is Yuan Xiao Jie. It's considered the Chinese Valentine's Day, and the feng shui shop that he visits quite often actually are giving away free roses because of that. So it's pretty late at night actually. I kind of like would consider miss one day of the 30-day challenge because technically today is like it's 12 a.m. by the way. So that's actually what I meant. But anyway, I just wanna talk about that I just watched, or rather I rewatched a documentary that was on Netflix called The Social Dilemma. It was, I think, released in 2020, and I believe that I've watched that before. So I haven't been really watching shows recently actually. So what happened was just randomly I was feeling like I want to watch something serious, so I just scrolling through Netflix, and I feel like it was kind of like meant to be. I was like, why did it like it felt familiar, but I don't remember the content. And I watched it the second time. Of course, some of the memories start coming back to me, and then I feel like watching and reflecting upon it the second time, I felt like I understood it more. And also because of what I'm doing right now, that I actually need to manage a social media account, having to put content out there versus probably 3 4 years ago when I was just working a corporate job. It was different. Like before that I was just a user. I was just like someone who consumes content versus now that I'm consuming and putting out there at the same time. So I was just reflecting in the sense of like uh finally understanding the severity of social media and AI and the algorithm. I think basically what it was saying is that, when basically they have the algorithm that's written, kind of like wanting to reach a certain goal, which basically is like to kind of like match the content or match the advertisement to the kind of content that the person is already consuming, kind of like targeting the right content lah to the right people, which it makes sense actually if you think about it. It's like I'm interested in this is my preference, and you are like showing me more of that. It makes sense. And then it was the AI that was running the show. It's kind of like I wrote this algorithm, you go analyze the person's actions, how long do they stay at one piece of content, da da da, and that's how it works. Like basically the AI is running the show after that. And and then there comes the fake news. That's where like it became like I would say that I feel the whole system, whole algorithm thing was pretty neutral, but at the same time it's having a life of its own ever since it started running itself. Because some people, they will be more of a like scarcity mindset or survival mindset. That's where people like buy into more of the fake news, or more of the kind of news that triggers fear, or trigger survival mode in you. I would say, can't remember what words they were using. And then it became like, because we don't actually watch the same news on TV anymore. Like at least I don't watch the 10 p.m. news on TV anymore. I don't consume the local news, so to say. Like all of us are just basically watching our phones, consuming content from social media, from Facebook, from Instagram. And now the news, so to say, are like tailor made for us according to our own preference. So which is why kind of like, not just, it's like forming our own, I don't know, tailor-made reality, so to say. But at the same time, like, which is why, like, every one of us can be like walking on the streets, living in the same place, but because of the content that we are consuming that is so unique, so tailor-made to us, it kind of forms our own reality, be it whether we, I mean, regardless or not, whether we can be in the same place, if that makes sense. So I mean, which is like then it leads to things like, strikes, or like wars, or like, I mean, in some other countries, like steering the voting system, presidential, or like, stuff like that, the voting system steering in a certain way. And that's basically what the documentary, or rather part of what the documentary was about. And then for me, while I tried to watch it in a very objective sense, because ultimately I feel like um we cannot avoid AI, we cannot avoid social media no matter what. But at the same time, I can't go all out, or we can't go all out to say like this is bad for us. Stop using the internet, stop using stuff like that, because there is some magic to it. There is some use to it, for sure. So also on a spiritual perspective, right? Because I've been watching Maria, and she has been talking about AI on a spiritual perspective, and she's saying kind of like, I think that's a whole new other topic, but basically AI is kind of like, it's kind of like having a consciousness of its own already. But even now, like, even though now it's just basically in the baby stage, so to say, it's kind of like still very wide eyes, still, watching humans, see like how they are treating us, and what is their preference, all this kind of stuff. And I remember one of the statement is that she said was, um you know be careful of what you're feeding them, or what your actions are, like what kind of actions you're taking, what kind of content you're taking, because they are actually watching us. I mean, putting in like the spiritual perspective of what she said, and then the documentary itself, which is kind of like from a very 3D standpoint, a very engineer, or like the tech people kind of standpoint. Now it makes sense, because the thing is, the algorithm is written that way, like what kind of content we are consuming, and how much like eyeball, or like how much time we stay on a piece of content will generate more content for us like that. Now it makes sense. And also, what triggered me to think, right, is thinking it in terms of like a spiritual perspective, because the thing is, like how I believe that we all exist in a matrix. Like, this is a matrix, and when we die, eventually we're all gonna wake up. Like, it's the word on the street, and this is what I believe as well, the spiritual perspective. So, the thing is, even this matrix itself, according to the hermetic principles, um, law of attraction exists. It's kind of like law of mirroring exists, which is why what we see, what we hear, what we believe is going to form our physical reality. Like, we are gonna attract, we are gonna manifest them into our physical reality, into our realm. So it felt like this is like the matrix in the matrix, if it makes sense. Like, AI itself, like our phone, what content, what news are being shown to us, that's another matrix. It's kind of like, what do you believe in, and what energy do you give to, what attention do you give most, and that is gonna start to slowly form our reality, because in this Earth's matrix, it's our energy that's gonna generate. But at the same time, well, it's the same thing, while like you are watching whatever thing, or you are reading whatever thing that's on your phone, on your computer, it's the attention that you're giving to is gonna generate, and it's gonna form your reality. Your reality of like what you, the belief system, or like the conditioning and stuff like that. So if you really think about it, like in the Earth's this matrix that we are in, the law of mirroring and the law of attraction exists for a reason. It is for us to learn the lesson. It's like a feedback mechanism of like, hey, this is what you like, kind of like, it is your energy. Where you put your energy at forms your reality. This is your feedback system. Now, do you like your physical reality or not? Do you like what you have been attracting to your life or not? And if you don't, then maybe it's time to make a change. Now, where do you want your energy to go to? What kind of reality do you want to like form now? Yeah, this is kind of like what I think. And then, like, on an easier way to really understand it, right, is like all of the news, that all of the content that you're absorbing onto your from your phone or your computer, from the internet, like, do you like what you see? And if you don't like, or like you don't, I mean, like, some certain things are, of course, to inform you. Of course, there are like fake news involved, but that's another topic for another day. But kind of like the content that you are consuming, do you want that to be in your reality? I'm not denying that they may be true, but do you want them to form part of your reality? And if you don't want them, rather, other than just being informed of like certain things are happening around the world, do you are you addicted to certain kind of content? Are you addicted to like reading certain piece of news, and maybe like you read about like some sad cases, I don't know, or like conspiracy theory, or like things going on, and day in day out you just go on by saying like, oh my god, this is the world I live in, I don't want to live in this kind of world. And then the next moment you go to your phone and you absorb the same piece of content. Like, do you want that? Or is it time to be a little bit more disciplined, to hold back, like, hey, I don't want to live in this kind of world, whether be it like your world, or like, I mean, I would say your world that you manifest. Maybe it's time to start reading on some kind of other news. Just a bit food for thought. Wow, this today is a bit long. I rambled on. Thank you for watching, for anybody who watches, and for any, or even just to listen to it, or even to just admire the rose for like the first 2 minutes of my video. Thank you. Love you guys.